Today we're outside in the back of the detail garage, and we're going to go ahead and show you some engine bay cleaning, detailing tips, and tricks. Now, one of our employees brought their E46 M3. This car just got a whole new paint job, and we're going to go ahead and detail the engine to make the engine match the beautiful paint job. Now, detailing an engine is pretty easy. We're going to go over a lot of tips and tricks on stuff that you could do right at your home with just a few tools and a few Chemical Guys products. Now, we're going to pop the hood on this E46 M3 and see what we got underneath the hood. Now, before we clean an engine bay, we need to go ahead and let it cool down. So I let this engine bay cool down for a few hours. It's cool to the touch, it's not very hot, so I'm ready to go ahead and detail the engine bay. Now, if you have a hot engine, you don't want to go ahead and detail it because it could hurt the components inside the engine. You can crack things like exhaust manifolds. You can also hurt electronics. So go ahead and let the engine cool down before you get started. Now, we're going to be using water to clean this engine bay. You could do this waterless, or you can do this with a pressure washer, but we got a garden hose fitted with our ultimate fire hose car wash nozzle to clean the engine bay as well. Now let's go over all the tools that we're going to use to clean the engine bay because you need a few of them. Now, besides our garden hose, we're going to be using a few chemicals. So to clean the engine, we're going to be using our orange degreaser. Now, this is what we're going to use to clean all the cracks and grease and fingerprints off the engine bay. It's also going to get any dirt off. Now, this is a concentrated formula, so you need to dilute it. We diluted it in one of our professional bottles with a Tolco gold sprayer, diluted 6:1 with water. So that's 6 parts water to 1 part cleaner. Now, I'm also going to use some brushes. I have one of our short-handled flag tip brushes. I also have one of our goat brushes to get the finer details done. A few old microfiber towels. I got some old ones because we're doing an engine bay. A lot of things in there are dirty, and once we grease up the towels, we might want to throw them away after. And then I also have a plastic bag, and the plastic bag is to cover up the intake. So let's move over to the engine bay. Now, on the engine bay, there's a lot of electronics, and depending on what car you have, you might need to cover up certain pieces of electronics in the engine. Now, for the alternator, sometimes an alternator is right on top. This alternator is way down at the bottom. And a lot of alternators are okay to get wet, so they can get wet on the outside of the case. You just don't want to be focusing water right on the inside of the alternator. It's okay if it gets a little damp on the outside. If you have a battery, you might want to cover that up too. This is a sports car, so it has the battery right back in the trunk, and there's no electronic plugs or anything that's exposed. Everything is sealed up or covered with plastic. So the only thing I need to cover up is this intake right here has a K&N filter, and it's not supposed to get wet. So we're going to take one of our plastic bags and we're going to cover up the filter. So you can use aluminum foil, you can use newspaper. I like to use a plastic bag, and we're just going to cover it up so the water doesn't get on the filter. Now we can go ahead and start cleaning the engine. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is take my ultimate car wash fire hose nozzle, and we're going to clean the whole engine bay to rinse it down first. Now, our fire hose nozzle has a hard stream at first, so I'm going to open it up, crack the hard stream, and then I'm going to use the fan to clean the engine bay. Now we'll get the fan on. I'm going to hose off the engine bay. Now that we have our engine bay wet and ready to start cleaning, I'm going to spray it down with some degreaser. Now I'm going to take my degreaser and I'm going to spray it on practically everything. And the reason I'm going to spray it on everything is because I want it to get into the cracks and the crevices and clean off all the dirt and grease. I'm going to spray it on the brake booster and the master cylinder. I'm going to move over to this side, spray it on the valve cover and any small cracks and crevices. Now, what this is going to do is break down all the dirt, because engine bays have a lot of cracks and crevices, and the dirt's in all those small areas, so the degreaser is going to pull it out and make sure that the engine bay is perfectly clean. Now, this car is a daily driver, but it's a show car that goes to car shows, so we want to keep it clean and make sure the engine bay can look its best. Now, this technique works on dirty engine bays or moderately dirty engine bays. This one's moderately dirty, has more dust and track dust all over the inside of the vehicle engine bay, so I'm going to spray it down to get the best result we can. Now, once my engine bay is sprayed down with a degreaser, I'm going to take my brushes and give them a nice wetting before we start. So I'm going to take my fire hose nozzle and rinse my brushes a little bit, just wet them for some lubrication. And now I'm going to take my brushes and give it a light scrubbing. So I'm going to scrub the plastic parts and getting all the cracks around the top. I'm going to scrub the valve cover and the intake manifold. Now, a lot of newer cars from the late 90s are a lot of plastic components. They're not a lot of metal. so they're real easy to clean, and all of our Chemical Guys products are safe on all the plastic. Now everything we use in this video, the brushes, degreaser, any of the extra tools that we use, we can actually use and pick up on our website, chemicalguys.com, where you can purchase all these products right now to get the job done. Now I'm going to switch to my smaller brush and brush all the inner fender liners to get them real clean. And I want to make sure that the engine is lubricated. I don't want to let it dry. Now I'm going to go deep down into the engine bay because I told you guys I want to clean this the best I can clean it. So we go to a car show and win some awards, or just impress some people when we take it off and move over to the other side. Clean some more parts, including the brake booster and the brake master cylinder, and get it nicely done. Now, if you look up here on the top of the hood up here, there is some dust and dirt and grease. I'm going to take my brush and clean off the top of the hood as well. Let's make sure I get everything clean all around the hood. The back of the hood's not that dirty, but it works the same way. Just want to clean off all the surfaces. Now you want to make sure and not harm this hood blanket. This is called the hood blanket. It's designed to insulate the engine. So you want to make sure you don't dirty that or spray too much chemical on it, because it's a very sensitive piece of material. We want to make sure it stays looking good. So now I'm going to move over to rinsing down the engine bay. So I'm going to take my hose nozzle, I'm going to turn it off the strong setting and onto the fan, and then I'm going to hose it all off. Now don't worry about getting anything wet. We're going to blast it dry with our Metro Blaster Sidekick when we're done to make sure that it looks its best. So our engine bay is fully rinsed off. Now you can get the hood blanket wet, it's going to dry. You just want to keep a lot of chemicals off the hood blanket because you don't want to stain it or harm the blanket. It's designed to get wet by cleaning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the keys and I'm going to start up the engine. I'm going to dry it a little bit and drive it inside, and then I'm going to use our Metro Blaster inside the detailing cage to clean it off, dry it, and dress it. We'll see you in a moment. So now we brought the car back inside the detail garage, and we're going to dry off the engine bay and the whole outside of the car. Now the outside of the car got wet, the inside of the engine bay is all wet. We need to dry it all off so we can apply our dressing and get the engine bay done. Now what I'm going to use to help me out is one of our Master Blaster Sidekicks. Now this is our Blaster Sidekick. It's made by Metro. Metro is a vacuum company that makes high quality stuff right here in the USA, and this thing is strong to blast off in all the cracks and crevices. This is one of my favorite tools to get all the water out from every little tiny spot. I'm also going to use some old green microfiber towels to dry off the big surfaces of the vehicle on the inside and the outside of the car. So let's turn on our Metro Sidekick Blaster, blast all the air out, and get this thing dry. So now we're back and we're going to go ahead and finish off the engine bay to get it looking good. We dried off the engine bay and now we're ready to apply some dressing, and we're going to touch up the valve cover. Now the valve cover is real carbon fiber, so we're going to put some sealant on it to protect it, keep it looking that shine, hopefully resist some heat. So we're going to use our Chemical Guys JetSeal on the valve cover to enhance the shine and protect it. I'm also going to dress up the plastics using one of our dressings, but I'm going to apply the JetSeal first so it can bond to the surface while I apply the dressing. So I'm going to shake up this JetSeal, I'm going to pop it open, I'm just going to put a few dots of the JetSeal on our applicator pad. Now this is one of our premium microfiber applicator pads. You can pick up JetSeal and the applicator pad right now on our website, chemicalguys.com. Now I'm going to take the JetSeal and I'm going to spread it on the valve cover. Now this, on these E46 M3s, the valve cover goes real back far into the cowl, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I dress all the surfaces of the valve cover. Here we go. That's all I want to do is spread it on, and then we'll get the job done with the rest of the dressing. Now for the dressing, I'm going to use our Chemical Guys Black on Black. Now this is our sprayable shine and protection dressing. It's actually in an aerosol can, so it actually gets into all the cracks and crevices. Now you can use any dressing to dress the engine bay. You can use our VRP, Silk Shine, Natural Shine. You could use any of the dressings, but I'm going to use the sprayable dressing that's in an aerosol form because it's going to get into all the little cracks that are down here. It's going to make sure it gets all the hoses, and this engine bay is very intricate, so it's going to cover all the spots. I'm going to show you how to use it. So first shake it up and then pop the top, and then we're going to start spraying it. Now this has a super atomizer tip. So the tip's designed to give a light mist. So you might see me holding on the trigger for a long time, but it's actually giving a super light mist and it's not using very much product. So I'm going to shake it up and I'm going to start spraying the stuff. So let's spray all of the plastics. There we go. I'm going to first start out with this air induction piece right there. I'm going to wipe these dry after I'm done, so I'm going to spray it on kind of thick. I'm going to spray the fan shroud. And look how it easily covers all the stuff instantly. You see how black it's getting. Now I want to move over to the intake manifold. Intake manifold is like a textured plastic. And watch it cover all the intake manifold. Pretty cool. Now this works on all engine bays, and it works on plastic, rubber, and vinyl surfaces. So if you have any of those surfaces, this is going to work great for that. I'm making sure I don't get any on the air filter, but I'm spraying all the plastic hoses, plastic strut tower braces. I'm going to go over here to the brake booster area. Anything that's plastic or hoses, I'm spraying this to make it look its best. Now you notice how easy of a mist this sprays and how easy it is to get in all the cracks. So if you have a super complicated engine bay with a lot of cracks, a lot of crevices, a lot of hoses, this is great for that. It also works great for Harley Davidson motorcycles to get deep into the engine if you're detailing an engine on a motorcycle as well. I'm also spraying the rubber trim seals. And I'm going to go ahead and spray right here on the top. Now this part looked real faded. The owner was telling me about it earlier in the day, so I want to make sure it looks its best. Now I'm going to try and spray the cowl too. I'm just going to spray right around the wipers to make sure that it looks its best. Now the cowl on this vehicle is super faded. It sits in this California sun. So we're going to restore that with the black on black. Now look how easy black on black works. Gets into the tight places because the super fine atomizing spray makes the engine bay just look amazing again. Now I'm going to get the last hose down here and any little tiny places around the throttle bodies. There we go. So now that I got that all done, I'm going to grab another old microfiber towel and I'm going to use this to buff off the JetSeal on the valve cover first. Now JetSeal, you can allow to dry for 20 minutes. This is a hot day, it's super humid outside, so it's already dry and ready to be removed. So I'm going to remove the JetSeal right off the valve cover. Now this is going to give the valve cover protection. It's going to keep it looking good because carbon fiber can actually fade and discolor from heat. So this works on carbon fiber. If you have painted valve covers or powder coated gloss valve covers, this trick for the JetSeal works the same way. Now I'm going to go ahead and knock off some of the shine on a lot of the plastics because I want it to give that original look back to the vehicle, but I want the plastics to be all dark and rich again. Here we go. So like this plastic right on the front, I'm just going to give it a quick wipe and look at how it looks original. It has that dry to the touch feel, but it's still black and new again. There we go, that valve cover just looks perfect. Get the air intake. And right here on the top, I'm going to just give one quick wipe. And it's going to make it look new and fresh again. There we go. Now I'm going to let the cowl dry. I like that nice hot look on the cowl, and that's going to keep it restored and looking its best. And our engine bay is looking fantastic now. All these tricks are super easy to do, and you can pick up everything like our microfiber towels, the JetSeal, the black on black, ultimate fire hose nozzle, everything we use you can pick right now up on our website, chemicalguys.com. The link will be right below in this video so you can click it and get the best prices on all detailing products. There we go. Now our engine bay just looks fantastic. This is a show-worthy engine bay. Every spot's hit, every area is clean. It looks black, original, and it's all protected. So we have the black on black right on top of the plastics. It's dry to the touch. It's not going to attract any dust, but it's going to keep it protected and make this M3 a true show winner. So if you have any questions about any more detailing or all the products that we offer, including our black on black detailing spray, our JetSeal, our orange Signature Series degreaser, or any of the tools, microfiber towels, and accessories that we use in our video, be sure to go to our website, chemicalguys.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have 500 tips and tricks on how to do all the cool stuff, like detail engine bays, clean wheels. We do motorcycles, cars, trucks, all types of vehicles, right on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, click the like button, and enjoy all the free media that we put out just for you guys. So if you guys have more questions about detailing, shoot over to our website, send us an email, but always remember, have fun, stay clean, and keep on detailing.